NewArtMusik presents Reflections.
Good mornings, friends, art and music lovers, students and amateurs. It's a pleasure to be here with you today in Reflections, a new program on the NewArtMusik platform, a new space for the analysis, discussion, dissemination of the art and music of our times. Thank you for sharing with us part of this beautiful Sunday, and I hope you enjoy this program.
You're watching Reflections, your digital space for analysis and dissemination of today's musical creation.
Un gusto en saludarte nuevamente, Silvia. Es interesante poder conversar ahora sobre tantas cosas en las que has estado involucrada, componiendo música, escribiendo libros, preparando materiales
It is a pleasure to see you, Sylvia. It is very interesting to talk to you about all the projects you have been involved with composing music, writing books, writing educational materials, particularly in these 160 days of quarantine. You have been a great example on how to deal with a quarantine, especially because you have not wasted any time. Yours have been a very productive quarantine. You have managed to produce creative works and create new projects and collaborations. Tell us how it has been. We want to hear about all the things you have been doing, which I understand there are quite a few.
Lo que has venido haciendo en todo este tiempo, en todos esos días, que tengo entendido que son muchas cosas.
Yes, I guess I'm very happy that I has been able to use that time of the quarantine in a very creative way. I have been in complete isolation for the last 160 days. Because of my health, I decided that it was best that way. And it really has been a very successful and creative wise period. I have been writing a lot of music, painting because I enjoy painting, and I have been also writing a lot of educational materials, and also even writing a novel now. And so it's been a very full time of creative activities. I have also engaged on some new projects with friends and colleagues collaborating in different projects, and new ideas that has been emerging from this period, as we are all, I think, evolving into new things, as we need to keep moving as artists. And I think it's important to try to give in new different ways. If the traditional ones are not allowed right now because concert halls are not allowed now, but there are many other possibilities for making important contributions. And I'm very happy I can engage in doing these things.
Hace poco tú escribiste una obra, un concierto para trompeta y orquesta llamado Alhambra, que tiene mucho contenido de la música tradicional española, llevada al formato sinfónico contemporáneo, para que fuera estrenada por un joven y prominente trompetista, una promesa de la trompeta en Venezuela, y con la orquesta juvenil del Estado Nueva Esparta, de tu tierra, el Estado Nueva Esparta, con el maestro Egbert Lucena. Coméntanos un poquito sobre esa obra, cómo la describes musicalmente, cuál fue la dirección musical y cuáles son los planes que tienes con esa obra.
Talk to us about your concerto, Alhambra, for trumpet and orchestra. You wrote it for a Venezuelan trumpet player, to be premiere with Maestro Lucina and the orchestra, Estado Nueva Esparta.
Alhambra is a concert for trumpet and orchestra. It's one of my works with a Spanish flavor. I like to write some of my pieces have the Spanish flavor. My father was from Spain and it's music that is close to my heart. So I have memories from my childhood. So I have dedicated myself to study the folklore and the rhythms of Spain. And I have tried to represent that in some of my work. I have a work for orchestra called the Fandango that is very Spanish, that has been premiered in Italia and Romania, Bulgaria, in Venezuela also. That is really very close to my heart. We did it here in Miami too. I have conducted it sometimes and other people have conducted too. And it's a very effective piece. I know it's been always very well received. And from that idea, I got the idea to write some of the concertos. So I wrote first a concerto for harpsichord and orchestra. And later, I felt like also writing a piano concerto with a Spanish flavor. And that's how I wrote the Estampas de España, a work that was premiered here in Miami, and later I performed it myself in France, in Paris, and in Vienna. It's really one. I have two piano concertos, but that's probably my favorite one. Later after that, then I decided to write the concerto for trumpet, the Alhambra, which is really based on Spanish flavors completely all the way. I felt the trumpet was perfect for that. And it was premiered by Edgar Randam in the Isla de Margarita with the Orchestra Estado Nueva Esparta with the Maestro Lucena. Maestro Lucena has been a wonderful supporter of contemporary music. He has premiered quite a few works with the Orchestra of Estado Nueva Esparta, a few works, new music, and he being a composer himself, he has a very clear understanding of contemporary music and is a great educator also, so he's a great promoter of contemporary music. But I feel that there's so much that I still can do with Spanish like music, so I'm actually writing right now also some etudes for trumpet, some of them also with the Spanish flavor. I feel is one of these things that I have, I carry on my heart, and I like to represent sometimes on my music.
Siempre es un gusto conversar contigo, siempre es un aprendizaje musical hablar contigo, sobre todo lo que es la música contemporánea. Y también ahora con tus series de libros educativos de aprendizaje musical, que tengo entendido que varios de ellos han llegado a la categoría de bestseller en Amazon, lo que te convierte, bueno, en la primera venezolana en encabezar esas listas en lo que se refiere a libros.
It is always a pleasure talking to you. It is always a learning experience, particularly on the area of contemporary music, and now with your new series of educational materials. I understand some of them has won positions as bestsellers in Amazon. This makes you the first Venezuelan to achieve this. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I started writing books and educational materials in the 90s. I started actually first published a couple of piano books in the 90s in a small amount, and then later in the 2000s I started writing and publishing a lot more books. right now I have a quite a large number of materials for piano, solfege, violin, music theory, and composition that I have written. However, in the last 2 years, I started to have an interest for writing also other materials to initiate the younger ones. So that's where it came the idea of writing these little children books that are really based on musical stories, and they are oriented to introduce the younger ones to music. These little books turned out to be a unexpected great success, given the let's say the facility to publish in Amazon. I tried publishing these books first as digitals and later through the publishers in hard copy. But the books in Amazon turned out to be a bestseller, something that I didn't expect it. Imagine in a platform where you have almost 2 million books, 1.5 million books, I think at least. I definitely didn't expect my books to be on first place and to turn out to be such a success. They turn out to be really so far quite successful. I'm writing 3 more books right now, and I have 3 published. The first of them I published in 7 languages. Is available in English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, and then later some of my students asked me to publish it in the Korean, students from South Korea, and I did that with the help of one of my students' parents. The others I translate myself, but the Korean one I did it with the help of one of my students' mother. And also it was published in Catalan. So that one is being available in 7 languages, and the other 2 are right now only available in English, but I'm in the process to completing the translations to at least another 5 languages, and soon they're also going to be all available in other languages, possibly in German. So this is being wonderful because I really like the idea of writing materials that introduce the youngest one to the world of music and the arts, and that's really the objectives of these books. These little 3 books plus all the so many translations has been incredibly successful. They have a total of 36 bestsellers, and at least half of those are first number 1 bestseller in many different lists, because Amazon creates this list by categories: children books, classical music, literature for young children, etc. And really the books has hit the first place many times in many of these categories. So it's been really wonderful. I think it's a blessing that I can create something that is accepted and good for so many people. I'm very happy that I can write something that improves the life of children and that introduces them to music. Separate from that, and my collection of the STAR method, which is already over 80 books that I have written for materials, educational material, that without counting my concert music, which I think I'm in the opus 106 is the last work. Separate from that, I started writing a collection under the advice of my students. They really wanted me to do that, so I started writing a collection that I call the 7 Keys or the 7 Secrets to Piano Playing. And that is a collection. It's not just a book. There is a couple of textbooks, but then there is a collection of materials that I am completing. and some of them already published. The first one already published in Amazon. Then again, it hit the bestseller list in 4 different categories, and it has a total of 7 bestsellers. 4 of them are #1 bestsellers again. So that has been very fortunate. That collection of the 7 secrets, it pretends to board the education of the piano performance from the different angles, not just as one unit, but as all the different aspects that you're supposed to master to be an artist and a concert pianist, including memory, virtuosism, the development of the musical ear, and the knowledge of harmony and applied harmony, the understanding of musical forms, and stylistic and interpretation concerns, repertoire, and artistry. So, and of course, technique and virtuosity. So, of course, there are many different ways to approach the art of piano performance. It's just no one thing, as many times people think or teach. There is a diversity of different aspects that must be covered, and this is why I started writing the collection, because my students felt that my approach to teaching could be very beneficial for many other students. I hope so. I hope it can be useful. So far, the book is being terribly successful, and I hope that that means that it's improving the life and the performance of many students. I'm very happy for that.
Hablando de las obras nuevas, de tus nuevas composiciones, recién salida del horno tienes una obra que se llama El Edredón, compuesta para un formato de música de cámara de 13 instrumentos y que hace poco se estrenó en un concierto digital vía streaming con músicos de Estados Unidos y Europa, algo realmente interesante.
Talking about your most recent work, there is your new work, El Edredón, a work for 13 instruments. I understand that it was recently premiered in a digital streaming concert, performed by musicians in the United States and Europe. What can you tell us about this work? How was that experience? And why did you give it that name to the piece?
Yes, we can talk about the edredon. The edredon is a Venezuelan blanket. It's made out of small little squares. These little squares are put together and create a large blanket. In thinking on those terms, I wrote a piece that is completely minimalistic, that is based on different materials, minimalistic materials, combined all together. The piece is for 13 instruments, and the fact that we have to do a recording digitally actually allowed me to have musicians performing my piece from different parts of the world. For example, the guitar player was all the way in Singapore. I'm from Miami. I played the piano part and sang the soprano part. The bass was singing from Spain, and the baritone was in France. And then we have a few musicians in England, some of them in London, some of them in the south of London. And we could put the piece all together because it was done asynchronically. At the same time, the piece in the middle, it have a fugue that requires for 3 cello players, and I only have one cello player, but he played the 3 different parts. Since we had to do the recording asynchronically, this allowed me to use this possibility. On the same way, I'm the one who did the piano and the soprano, something that I couldn't do both if it was in a live concert. And the violin player, Kingsley Lin, who is a wonderful performer and a virtuoso of the violin and also the viola, he played both instruments for the recording. He played the viola and the violin, and he played both parts in the fugue, something that could be simply impossible if it was a live performance. But these are some of the advantages that we have now with the digital concerts, which is something that let's say is a new avenue that has been pretty much now growing and developing due to the limitations of time that we have today. Um, at the same time, I wrote for the piece two brass instrument part, the saxophone and the trumpet. And my brass players were all the way, or are all the way, in Venezuela. So it's quite an international piece because these two young players, Edgar, who is a wonderful trumpet player, and his brother Argenis Handam, he played the saxophone all the way from there. And this is opportunity also. I think the digital context is giving now us opportunities for creating new music relationships and new music, let's say, engagements, new possibilities. Let's try to look at the positive side of everything, and I think that has been something new that we have been able to embrace. So I think we're going to be listening to the piece now, so I hope you all enjoy very much. Thank you so very much.
Bueno, Silvia, te felicito, de verdad esta experiencia ha sido realmente maravillosa, ha sido maravilloso escuchar toda esa música y saber de tantos proyectos y nutrirnos con tus conocimientos y con tantas explicaciones valiosísimas. Nos vamos con un buen aprendizaje, de verdad que ha sido muy
Sylvia, my
grato compartir en este
congratulations.
momento
This has been a
buena
wonderful
música,
time. It has been
educación,
awesome to listen to your music and to
conocimientos.
learn from your
Siempre es
knowledge and
valioso
experience. We leave
conversar
with a good learning.
y estar
It
en
is always
contacto
great talking to you.
contigo, que has
You
sabido
have
ser
are
un
giving a
verdadero
good
sentido de la música
contribution to the world of
contemporánea.
contemporary music.
Thank you, Roberto. It's been a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for your support and your wonderful comments. It's been a pleasure sharing with you this program, and I hope that we can have more time together in the future. Uh, this series is full of surprises and new things are coming. And I know that right now we'll be starting very soon the NewArtMusic's online concert series, and there will be some wonderful concert coming, many opportunities for performers and composers. I hope you all enjoy, keep informed, keep sharing with us, and you can find more information at the NewArtMusic television different channels. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
New Art Music TV.
Sponsored by Star Music Educational Materials and Digital Solutions. Markovely Music and Art Royal Conservatory Online Institute. Genema Media Label Publishing and PR. Music and Art Royal Conservatory. Global Village Ed Cooperative Platform for Online Education. Landia Land of Music. friends of New Art Music. You're watching Reflections, your digital space for analysis and dissemination of today's musical creation.